Oh my god, you guys need to check out Arcane. If you haven't checked out Arcane, seriously, what are you doing with your life? Hello, I'm Dan, and welcome to Danotaz Media, and on today's video, I will be doing my review for Arcane League of Legends. But before we go any further, if you like comic books, animation, and other nerdy forms of entertainment, you're in luck. My channel literally covers all of that. So make sure you hit the subscribe button in order to get more videos like these from me and my channel. So, with that out of the way, let's get back to talking about Arcane. For those who don't know what Arcane is a new animated series on Netflix that serves as a prequel to the incredibly popular League of Legends video game. I'll be blunt when I say that Arcane is probably the best show I've seen this year, and I wholeheartedly mean it. In my opinion, Arcane ranks among some of Netflix's best original animated series, like Castlevania, Blood of Zeus, and The Dragon Prince, in terms of quality. Honestly, this show is so good that I would actually go as far as to say it's flawless. I thought really long and hard to see if I can think of anything I didn't like about this series, but really, I don't have any problems with it. The entire show is amazing. This show does everything it needs to do in its first season and goes above and beyond in its execution. You don't need to take my word for it. The show's success speaks for itself. There have been multiple headlines I've seen on social media saying that it's one of Netflix's best reviewed shows, and at the time I am recording this, Arcane currently ranks #1 globally in terms of Netflix top 10 English language television shows. I also think it's safe to say that Arcane is Netflix's first successful weekly series. To be fair, there have been a few weekly Netflix series I've seen make it into the top 10 trending list here in the US every now and then, but Arcane is definitely the first one I've seen gain major traction on social media. So, eventually I got curious and decided to try the show out, only to be blown away by how good it was. This leads to what I thought were the highlights of the series. The first of which has to be how easily accessible Arcane is to everyone. What I mean by this is that although the series was made for League of Legends fans as the target audience, this show makes it so that people who aren't very familiar with the League of Legends lore like myself could easily tune into the series and have a really good time watching it. Being a prequel is actually one of the most notable ways in which Arcane achieves this, because it allows longtime fans of League of Legends to experience part of the story they've never seen before, while also giving newbies a way to familiarize themselves with the characters and the lore through watching the series itself. As one may expect from Netflix's #1 animated series, Arcane's animation is incredible, and I'll even go as far as to say it's the best CGI animated series I've ever seen. The series was produced by Riot Games and animated by French animation studio Fortiche Productions, the same animation studio behind the Get Jinxed League of Legends music video. Now, the studio did use a completely different style when animating Arcane. However, I think this was for the better, as the new style feels a lot smoother and looks a lot better in motion. The series animation looks a lot like a grittier version of Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, and even utilizes the same techniques of mixing CGI characters and action scenes with 2D coloring and backgrounds. Arcane also has one of the best soundtracks I've ever heard in an animated series. The theme song for the intro was done by Imagine Dragons and JID, and it is one of the catchiest theme songs I've heard in a very long time. But aside from the intro, the song selection throughout the series is also very good. All of the songs, whether they be lyrical or instrumental, feel like they were really well chosen for the series, and each song does a great job at setting the tone for the scene it's featured in. Now it's time to get to the best part of the series, which is the cast and characters. Starting off with my favorite, Vi, voiced by Hailee Steinfeld. Right off the bat, I'll admit, I'm a huge Hailee Steinfeld fan. I think she's an incredibly charming and charismatic actress who always brings her A-game to any role she's cast in. But one of the reasons I gravitate to her role as Vi in particular is because of the additional nostalgia factor it holds for me, since the first time I ever learned who Hailee Steinfeld was as a performer was through her voice work as Anna in the English dub of When Marnie Marnie was there. But even without that additional nostalgia factor, I still think Vi would be my favorite character. On the surface, Vi looks like the typical brawler character, but there's a lot more to her than her appearance may suggest. Aside from being a good fighter, Vi is also a very nurturing and compassionate person. On that note, Hailee Steinfeld was perfectly cast in the role, as she not only captures these aspects of Vi's character, but also enhances them through her performance. I will also give Hailee Steinfeld major props, since she, out of the entire cast, is the voice actor who sounds the closest to her video game counterpart, and is the only one who voices both the child and adult version of her character. Powder, aka Jinx, is another one of my favorite characters in Arcane, and is, in my opinion, the character with the best story arc. She has one of the best making of a monster storylines I've seen in years. When we first meet Powder, she's very clearly the runt of the litter. Being the youngest in her friend group, and feeling like a burden to everyone else, really makes you sympathize with her character. But at the end of the first act, Powder makes a mistake that ends up ruining her life and her sister's life, and it absolutely breaks her mental stability and becomes the catalyst to her descent into evil. Voice actress Mia Sinclair Genesis gave such an amazing performance as Powder that I honestly was concerned what would happen once Ella Purnell took over the role as the adult version of the character. But all of my concerns quickly faded away once I saw her performance. As an adult, Powder, who now goes by Jinx, is no longer the runt of the litter and has now become an apex predator at the cost of her humanity. Ella Purnell, much like Kelly Marie Tran, is one of those actresses I feel has never really found a live-action role that suited her. However, just like Kelly Marie Tran, I think Ella Purnell actually has a natural talent for voice acting. Honestly, she was amazing as the voice of Jinx. I was absolutely shocked to find out that this was Ella Purnell's first ever voice gig, which is honestly something I would have never guessed. Based on her performance, would have thought that she was a professional voice actor who had been in the business for years. I hope after Arcane, Ella Purnell is able to book more voice roles, as she really does have a talent for this medium and should explore it further. Third on my list of favorite Arcane characters is Echo, voiced by Reed Shannon. Echo was such a cool character. To see how he transitions from this scrawny little tech-savvy street-smart kid into a rebel leader is incredible. Without giving away any spoilers, all I will say is that, like Jinx, Echo also becomes an apex predator, only he becomes the alpha of his pack, and not just any alpha, but a good leader. Seeing how the people of Echo's community treat him with love and respect as their leader really helps the audience to grow respect for Echo's character as well. And although we don't get a lot of screen time with Echo, his character definitely makes a huge impression on the audience, thanks to some amazing action scenes, character work, and Reed Shannon's incredible voice work. Then there's Silco, voiced by Jason Spizek, who you may know as the voice of Wally West in Young Justice. Although Silco is a completely different character from Wally West in every single way possible, Jason Spizek is absolutely amazing in this role. But the main reason I like Silco so much is just due to how different he is from other villains. Unlike other antagonists, it's implied throughout the series that Silco has a moral code in a sense, that there are some lines he isn't willing to cross. And another thing I liked about his character is that you also get to see a very compassionate side to his personality, especially through his interactions with Jinx and their relationship, which adds a lot of very unique elements to the show as a whole. Next up is Mel, voiced by Tox Alungundoye, who many of you may know as the voice of Mrs. Beakley in DuckTales. Now, as you'd expect, Mel is a very different character from Mrs. Beakley. However, the reason I really like Mel is because of how much her character defies the stereotype for characters of color. For those of you who don't know, Mel is a League of Legends character who was created specifically for Arcane, probably to add a bit more diversity to the series as a whole. Most characters of color nowadays often feature race as an integral part of their identity, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but in a sense, it makes them seem a lot more like plot devices for diversity than actual characters. But when it comes to Arcane, I love how the writers decided not to make Mel's race a huge part of her character, because it demonstrates how they prioritize the character over her ethnicity. By doing this, the writers avoid the very dehumanizing stereotype of defining characters by the color of their skin. And while I can't get into too many details about Mel's character and story due to spoilers, I will say that the writers actually break the stereotype with her character in many other ways as well, such as how they wrote her to be a politician who isn't overly preachy, or how the character comes from nobility instead of poverty. Then there's Harry Lloyd as Victor. Harry Lloyd does an incredible job voicing Victor, and adds an incredible sense of screen presence to Victor's character. I really liked getting to know Victor and seeing how his character grew throughout the series and developed his friendship with Jace. And I thought the writers did a very good job at adding a lot of elements that made Victor one of the more tragic characters in Arcane. And although I can't get into too much detail due to spoilers, let's just say this tragedy is almost definitely going to be what leads him to becoming his League of Legends counterpart. And it'll be interesting to see just how the series will get us to that point. Afterwards, there's Jace Talus, voiced by Kevin Alejandro. Now, a lot of you may know Kevin Alejandro from his work in television, such as his role as Detective Douche on Lucifer, or his role as Brother Blood on Arrow. Much like Ella Purnell, I think that Jace is probably one of the best roles Kevin Alejandro has ever had. I really like how they wrote Jace as this dreamer who wants to help people with his creations after someone did the same for him in his childhood. However, his character mistook the means for the goals itself, and throughout the series you can tell that it's made him miserable. And seeing how this changes Jace internally is incredibly interesting and really allows the writers to flesh out the reality of Jace's situation in a very interesting and compelling way. And finally, we have Caitlin Kierman, voiced by Katie Leung. Now, everyone probably knows Katie Leung as Chang from the Harry Potter movies, and she's probably the biggest star next to Haley Steinfeld. While she sounds nothing like her video game counterpart, I still think Katie Leung does a pretty good job with the voice work. I really liked how Caitlin was the detective character of the series, being one of the few characters who actually wants to uncover and expose all the crime and corruption in the world of Arcane. I thought Caitlin's background of nobility and in marksmanship was pretty cool, and I thought her chemistry with Vi was just insane. However, I really feel like the character is really just getting started within Arcane. So although I really like Caitlin Kierman and the direction the writers are taking her in, I think we're going to need to wait till season 2 in order to see what she's really capable of. So to end off this video, I will be giving my ranking for the show. As I said before, Arcane is a series I actually had no complaints about. I loved every single thing, and I mean it. From the animation, the characters, and the writing, everything was just spectacular. So therefore, I am giving Arcane a 10 out of 10. It is a perfect score, and I wouldn't change anything about this first season of Arcane. So that concludes this review video. If you enjoyed this video and would like to see more content like this from me, make sure you leave a like on this video, hit the subscribe button, and share this video with others in order to help support my channel. Make sure to click the little bell icon when you subscribe to make sure you get notified every time I upload a new video. So without further ado, I will see you in the next video.